Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know, when I first picked up a piece of wood years ago, I wasn't thinking about business, branding, or profit. I just loved the feeling of shaping something raw into something beautiful. I loved the smell of freshly sanded pine, the sound of my tools, the peace that came from working with my hands. It was pure passion, no pressure, no deadlines, just me and the craft. But over time, something started to shift. Friends began asking for custom pieces. Someone offered to pay for a shelf I made. Then another person wanted a cutting board. I realized there was something bigger happening. My hobby was speaking to people. My craftsmanship had value. And that's when I started thinking, what if this could be more than a passion? What if I could build a brand, a real woodcraft business, something that not only carried my name but also provided steady income doing what I love? That thought changed everything. Because when you move from crafting for fun to crafting for income, the way you see your work changes. You start thinking not just about the wood in front of you, but the person who'll one day buy it. You think about how it looks, how it feels, and how it tells a story about your brand. Now, I didn't have a background in business. I didn't know what branding really meant. I made mistakes, learned through trial and error, and faced plenty of setbacks. But step by step, I figured it out, how to take creativity and turn it into something sustainable. And that's what this story is all about, the business side of crafting. How I built my wood brand from scratch, how I learned to make a profit, and how you can do the same without losing the love for your craft. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's talk heart to heart about what it really takes to build a woodcraft brand that not only feels right but earns right. When I first started selling my work, I thought quality alone would carry me. I believed that if I made something beautiful, people would naturally want to buy it. But soon, I learned something important: quality is only half the story. The other half is connection. I remember one of my earliest sales. I had built a rustic wall shelf, simple design, solid build, nothing fancy. I put it up for sale online, and it sat there for weeks. No clicks, no messages. Then one day, I changed the photo, added a short description that told the story behind it, how I used reclaimed wood from an old farmhouse, how I wanted it to bring warmth into someone's home. Within 2 days, it sold. That's when it clicked: people don't just buy wood, they buy meaning. And that realization became the foundation of my brand. I started giving my pieces stories. Every product I made had a small note about its inspiration. Maybe it was crafted for quiet corners, for cozy kitchens, for family moments. That's when my brand began to grow. But meaning alone isn't enough. You need structure. You need to think like both a maker and a business person. So, I began organizing my work like a real brand. I gave it a name, something that reflected craftsmanship, nature, and warmth. I created a simple logo and started marking my pieces with a small wood burn signature. That little touch made a huge difference. Suddenly, my work looked more professional, more intentional. Then came pricing, the toughest part for any craftsperson. In the beginning, I charged too little because I thought people wouldn't pay more. I only counted materials and forgot the value of my time. I was afraid to scare customers away. But soon, I realized I was barely breaking even. One evening, I sat down and did the math properly. I calculated how long each piece took to make, the cost of every screw, every finish, every brush stroke. Then I added what I deserved for my time and creativity. The results shocked me. My prices had been half of what they should have been. But here's the surprise: when I raised my prices, customers didn't disappear. In fact, new ones came. People respected the work more because I respected it. That was a powerful lesson. You teach people how to value your craft by the way you price it. Then I started thinking about how to reach more people. The internet changed everything. I built an Instagram page and began posting regularly, not just the finished products, but the process. The sanding, the assembly, the mistakes, the small victories. People love the behind the scenes. It makes your work human. I also learned that branding isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. My photos had the same style, the same tone, the same lighting. My captions carried the same friendly voice. Slowly, people began to recognize my work without even seeing my name. That's the moment you know your brand is alive, when your style speaks for you. Orders started coming in faster, and I had to learn to manage time. Crafting for business means balancing passion with planning. You can't spend a week perfecting one item if it's supposed to sell fast. You have to set a schedule, batch your work, and stay organized. I started keeping a small notebook tracking orders, materials, deadlines, and profits. It kept me focused and made my brand run smoothly. Another big step was improving my packaging. When someone buys handmade woodwork, they're not just buying an object, they're buying an experience. So I began wrapping my products neatly in craft paper, adding a thank you card, and sealing it with my brand logo. It made customers feel special. Some even shared it online, which brought me more orders. That's free marketing born from genuine care. But the most valuable thing I learned in this journey? Your reputation is your real currency. Every satisfied customer became a voice for my brand. They told friends, left reviews, posted pictures. I didn't need to chase people, good work brought good attention. Over time, I reinvested my profits, bought better tools, higher quality wood, and experimented with new designs. I also learned to adapt, watching what sold best and what didn't. Some products flew off the shelves, others barely moved. Instead of feeling discouraged, I studied the pattern. That's the business side of crafting: understanding demand, reading your market, and creating what people love without losing your artistic voice. Today, my wood brand isn't just a side hustle, it's a living, breathing business. When I first started working with wood, I never imagined it would turn into a business. It began as a weekend hobby, just me, a few tools, and a small corner in my garage. But the more I crafted, the more I realized people loved handmade pieces that carried a story. I decided to give my passion a name, my own wood brand. At first, it was slow. I sold a few cutting boards, a couple of wall shelves, mostly to friends and family. But every sale taught me something new: how to price my work, how to present it, and how to make each piece better than the last. Social media became my biggest showroom. I started sharing the process, not just the product, the sanding, the finishing, the small mistakes and triumphs. People connected with that honesty. Slowly, custom orders came in, then collaborations, and before I knew it, my brand started earning real profit. It wasn't luck, it was persistence, patience, and passion turned into purpose. Today, crafting isn't just my art, it's my business, my lifestyle, and my reminder that with hard work, even sawdust can turn into success. As I look back, I realized that the most powerful transformation wasn't just in my business, it was in me. I learned that crafting isn't just about shaping wood, it's about shaping a life. A life built from passion, purpose, and persistence. So, if you're out there crafting in your garage, working after hours, wondering if anyone will ever see your work, trust me, they will. Every great brand begins in silence. Every successful maker started with doubt. What matters is that you keep creating, keep showing up, and keep believing that your work matters. The business side of crafting isn't about becoming rich overnight. It's about building something sustainable, something that reflects who you are, piece by piece. It's about learning that profit isn't a dirty word. It's the reward for your dedication, your sleepless nights, your years of learning. So don't be afraid to put a price on your art. Don't be afraid to market yourself. Don't be afraid to say, yes, I made this, and it's worth it. Because it is. When someone buys your handmade piece, they're not just supporting your business, they're supporting your story. And that's the most beautiful part of all. So go ahead, my friend. Pick up that tool, dust off that piece of wood, and start building not just furniture, but a future. Build your brand, shape your craft, and carve your success one project at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this story inspired you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who dream of turning their craft into a career. Until next time, keep crafting, keep dreaming, and remember, every masterpiece starts with a single cut.